What's good, what's good? Welcome back to another episode of Kingsley TV. My name is Kingsley Brown. I post videos about the track and field experience and my life as a professional sprinter. So if you vibe with that, consider hitting that subscribe button and join me on the wave to 10,000 subscribers. So today I'm doing a Q&A video answering some of the questions I got in my Instagram poll. I try to answer some of these questions in my Monaco and Budapest vlogs, but the trips were very eventful. I had way too much going on and I barely got to any of those questions. But if you want to go check out those vlogs and see my entire journey through Europe, I'll link that right here so you can watch it after this video. But I don't want to make the same mistake that I made in those vlogs, and I want to get to all your questions, and there's a lot. So without even waiting, let's get right into it. What is one thing you wish someone would have told you about being a collegiate athlete? Honestly, the biggest shock for me when I got to college was learning that I had to do everything on my own. I was so used to in high school, everybody showing me around and people there to hold my hand and take me places, but in college, you were completely left up to yourself and you have to be an adult and grow up quickly. And as an 18-year-old, that was kind of difficult at the beginning because I wasn't used to that. But over time, you get used to the schedule, you get used to what you have to do in order to survive on the college campus, and there's a lot to do. You have a lot of freedom. You go from being in a very strict regimented schedule, having an open free-for-all schedule to do whatever you want. If you don't want to go to class, you don't have to. If you don't want to go to practice, you don't have to. Nobody's really chasing you down and making you do these things. So I think that was the biggest change when I got to college, and I didn't know about that, and I wish someone would have warned me, because there was times where I thought someone would help me get to my classes and find where they are on campus, but it was all up to me. How do you continue to find your why in sport after being an athlete for so long? That's a really good question. Honestly, my why changes all the time, and that's the key to having long-term success and being able to stay and having lasting power in sport, is having multiple whys. You know, over time, you change as a person and you evolve and you grow, so naturally your why of why you do what you do is going to change over time. When I first came to sport, I just wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted to form a career out of it. I wanted to make some money, and I wanted to run really, really fast. I wanted to have a legacy. That's still the case, but now I also run to set an example for the younger generation, in particular my son, show him that anything is possible, and if you put your mind to it and work really hard, good things can happen. I want to be a positive example for him, someone he can look up to, and I want to set fast times just in case he decides he wants to be a track athlete like his old man, and I don't want to make it too easy for him, so I'm definitely trying to run fast times so he has something to look up to and be proud of. What was your process of narrowing down schools and what ultimately attracted you to USC? Honestly, what it came down to was I wanted to find a place where I knew I was going to run fast. That was a big priority for me, and when it came down to it, it was really between Florida State and USC. Back then, I don't know what it is now, but back then, USC was ranked higher academically. They were a top 25 school, they were a private school, and they were in a big city in Los Angeles, which is very similar to Toronto, and I thought I would be more comfortable there. So it really came down to eliminating all the schools that weren't good on the track. Like, that wasn't even an option. I needed to run fast in college, so I had to find a school where I was going to run fast. And then from there, I narrowed it down to the best academic schools. So that eliminated a lot of players from the list because I wanted to make sure that my degree would hold some weight. And then finally, it was very tough between Florida State and USC. Florida State was my dream school at one point, and then USC became my dream school once I learned more about it. But it really came down to location. So to sum it up, I went sport, academics, and then location to narrow it down between two fantastic schools. But everybody's process is different. And with that said, I want to mention the sponsor of this video, which is Streamline Athletes. It's a great online resource for young student athletes who are looking to take their athletics to the next level and find a school that's the right fit for them. They have a whole entire website dedicated to track and field, and they're able to help you find opportunities and schools that will be the best fit for you. If you need some support to navigate the Streamline Athletes website, definitely reach out to me and I'll put you in the right direction and help get you the information that you need in order to navigate the website. There are many different factors for a student athlete to consider when choosing a school that's best for them. So using a website like Streamline Athletes is extremely helpful, and I wish I had a tool like this when I was in high school, because that would have made my choice a lot easier. Ultimately, I did land on USC and I'm very proud of that choice, but it would have been a very streamlined process if I used Streamline Athletes back when I was in high school. So if you're a student athlete or young college kid looking to take your college recruiting to the next level, definitely hit up streamlineathletes.com and reach out to them. Coaches are actively recruiting on the website all the time, so you just have to put yourself out there, register for free, put your personal information and athletic standards up there. It's that easy, and then you're all set up and ready to go and get noticed by college coaches. By the way, I got my Nike up-tempo spikes in the background, so if you want to check those out and copy you a pair, I'll put links in the description below. But let's keep it moving with this Q&A. What should I be asking college coaches when talking with them? That's a great question. I think one of the best things you can ask is what your situation will look like once you get to campus. A lot of coaches will say everything that you want to hear in order to get that commitment, but everything changes once you get there. So I would ask, who's one of the athletes that they can talk to on the team that will back up everything that they say? Ask them what their plans are for you as an athlete and what they plan to do in order to take you to the next level. How you're going to be coached, what kind of events you're running, what kind of training they do in the fall, what kind of lifting program do they have, what kind of running running do they do in the summer? Is their program more speed-based? Is it more strength-based? Is it a combination of both? These are all things you should be asking to get a very good sense of how you will fit in with the team and if this vibes with you. Ask them things like who you'll be training with, how many times a week do they train, what are their hours, when's the last time they won conference, when's the last time they competed for a national championship, who have they coached that's been successful, who do they still coach on the pro level, who are the best athletes that they've coached and why was this so successful, which athletes did it not work out with and why did that happen, and how can they prevent that from happening to you. You ask any one of these coaches these questions and they'll be very impressed that you're taking initiative in your college recruiting. Also, now you have something to compare against other coaches and see which school is the best fit for you and what situation you'll feel the most comfortable in and where you think you'll fit in the best. What is the hardest mental part about track? Whew, man, there's a lot of tough things about track and field, but I think the hardest one is being able to keep training, keep putting in the work when you're not seeing the results. It can be very frustrating when you keep putting in so much work and you're grinding and you're grinding and you're grinding, and you're not seeing any results on the track. You're actually having a tough time. You're not improving. You're not running season's best. You're not running personal best. You're losing. You're taking seconds, thirds, fourths, whatever the case may be. You're not winning is the point. In track and field, your breakthrough can come at any point. So it's very tough to stay patient and have that mental toughness to tell yourself that the next race is going to be the one when you've had an entire season of evidence telling you that it's not. And you're losing and it gets frustrating because everyone's wondering why you aren't succeeding. But I think the thing that separates those who go on to be great and do great things is those who can have that mental toughness and stay in the game even when it's not going their way, because they know at any moment things can change on a dime and that could be their race and opportunity where they break out. What is life like as a professional athlete? Honestly, life is great. I'm doing something that I love to do. I'm doing something that I've been doing my entire life. This is what I know. I know track and field. I've been doing it for over 10 years, so over a decade in my life, and it's pretty crazy to be in this position, be able to influence younger athletes and have an impact on young people's lives, traveling the world, getting to run in front of big crowds, going to world championships and the Olympics, running for Nike, one of my favorite brands of all time, getting free gear every year, getting paid to run their stuff. It's an awesome gig. It is tough at times. There's some times where things get hard and you have to figure it out on your own. There are always challenges with anything, but overall, I think it's a great experience. I would encourage you to go pro if you can, but just know life as a professional athlete varies from athlete to athlete depending on who they are, what event they're in, what sport they're in, how successful they are, who they represent, the opportunities they have, how successful they are, etc. How do you run the corner of the 200 meters? This is actually a video that I want to make breaking it down in depth of what I do technically wise and showing examples, but to keep this short, I get out of the blocks and drop to 40 or 50 meters if I can. I slowly transition up and run to the top of the turn, holding my speed that I built up until I hit what my coach calls the 2-2 zone. And there I'm accelerating fast off the turn, and usually I get a whip that slingshots me down the track. From there, it's all about maintenance and holding your speed all the way to the line. How did you keep your composure in the 200 meter heats when your blocks slip at Worlds? Man, that was tough, to be honest. I just told myself that my goals are bigger than my present situation. And what I mean by that is it would be easy for me to crumble. I have a built-in excuse. Everybody saw me slip out of the blocks. I could have said, oh man, I wasn't into it anymore, and go out there and have a bad performance. And I have a shield of a reason why, but that's not my character. That's not the type of athlete that I want to be. I don't want to have my present situation dictate my outcome, which is what my coach always tells me. I worked too hard all year and I knew I had things that I wanted to accomplish, and I didn't want to go out in the first round of the 200 meters. Definitely wanted to make the finals and mix it up for the medals. So in order to do that, I had to compose myself, tell myself to think big picture, survive in advance, just get to the next round. If you're hurting, if you're cramping, any of that, just block it out. Do what you got to do to qualify, stay composed, be a professional. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to come away with a second place finish and automatically qualify for the semifinals, and the rest is history. I keep working hard, but haven't seen the results on the track yet. Am I doing something wrong? Well, that's a tough question to answer. I don't know what your program is. I don't know what kind of hard work you've been doing. So my gut feeling is no. I would say that you have to trust the process and continue to work hard, and eventually you'll have that breakthrough. Like I said earlier, the hardest mental part about track and field is when you aren't succeeding, but you still have to put in the work. That could be one of the toughest things because it's maddening. Like you're putting in work and you're grinding and you're grinding and grinding and you're not seeing the results, and still putting in the work, staying committed and dedicated and doing everything you need to do as a track athlete in order to be successful, even when it's not going your way. That's one of the toughest things to do, but it's definitely sound advice. I will tell you, your breakthrough will come. Now, the one caveat is it depends on what kind of work you're doing. If you're working hard but not smart, if you're just grinding your gears but you don't have method to your madness, you don't have someone watching over your program, you don't have someone critiquing you and making sure that everything you're doing is actually effective and useful and is good for you as an athlete, then you might run into some problems. You can't just work hard by doing what everyone else does, because every athlete is different and you have to do what works for you. So you might have to zoom out and analyze everything that you're doing and what type of hard work you're doing in order to figure out if this is effective for you and is going to lead you to success in the long run. And that's something for your coach to decide. decide. So go to your coach, tell them what your problems, tell them your issues, and they will decide, okay, maybe we need to tweak something, or it's gonna work, just trust me, keep doing the work, and eventually it'll pay off. Okay, I could already tell this is gonna be a long video, so I'm gonna try and answer these rapid fire now. Let's get right into it. Favorite event apart from the one that you compete in? I'm gonna go with the 4. I always have a fascination with the 400. I know it's tough and a lot of people run from it, but eventually I wanna try it and take it more seriously, and I really think I can do something special in the event. What do you look forward to most after a competition is over? The cheat meals. After a long competition of hard work and sweat and tears and putting everything I had into it, I always look for that one dessert at the dinner table, reward myself for all the hard work I just put in, because that's the best time to do it. My metabolism is still high, so that I don't feel the effects of it too much, and I burn it off with all the calories that I expended for that day, so why not treat myself? What essentials do you have in your carry-on bag? Favorite pre-race meal? What's your taper look like? Essentials that I have in my carry-on bag no matter where I go in the world when I'm competing. I always have my spikes, I always have my shoes, and I always have my uniform, because I need those 3 things in order for me to make money. Everything else can get lost, but as long as I have those 3 things, I can still go and get the job done. Favorite pre-race meal? Salmon, broccoli, and sweet potatoes. What's your taper look like? Honestly, that's more of a coach thing. Leave that all up to him, let him decide exactly what he needs. He tweaks it based on how I'm looking throughout the season, so I'm not gonna get too much into that because I'm not a coach. What's the best advice you've been given in your athletics career? One of the best things that I've ever heard is don't focus on what can go wrong, focus on what can go right. What you think about grows and your thoughts manifest into reality. So if you're always thinking about what can go wrong in the race, that's exactly what's gonna happen. So think about positive things, think big, don't limit yourself, and manifest what you want to happen. How much do you earn for a month? Next question. How important is lifting for sprinters, and how do you use lifting? I think lifting is very important, but you don't want to get too bulky. I'm not a coach, of course, so I don't know programs and exactly the science behind it, but I know for me what works well is that I lift heavy weights in the early part of the season, and then I come off the weights completely later on when the season goes, and I still have that strength built up from what I did in the fall, in the early spring. That's how my coach trains us to use weights, is to lift heavy early and then slowly taper off. I guess that answers the earlier question about how I taper, is the early heavy lift, and then as we go on to the season, we just maintain and then drop off completely when we're trying to peak in the season. Favorite stadium to run in? One of my favorite stadiums of all time is Oslo. I just like the vibe there. I've usually done well there. Food's good, the hotel's nice. I just love the atmosphere, the crowd's always good, and I just have good memories there. I also like running in Hayward Field. Hayward Magic is real. I usually do pretty well there as well. So Eugene's always popping, Worlds was fun, and fast times is never a thing to complain about. I love running at home at the Star Athletics meet because that's my home track where I train every day, so I'm comfortable and I usually run fast, and it's good heat, good competition, nice environment, I'm nice and relaxed. And I'm gonna put Montreal up there. I tied my PR up there. It was a fantastic crowd at Nationals, and I'm looking forward to going back there in 2024. Oh, and I gotta throw London in there. Even though I got disqualified in 2017 and it broke my heart, it's still a special place in my heart because of the 2012 Olympics, and I usually do well there as well. I like the radius of their track and how I run off the curve there. It's a very nice bend and usually run really fast times there. Do you eat a special diet when training? I don't have a special diet. Like, I don't particularly follow anything specifically, and I might look into that this season. It's something that I can add to my repertoire. But basically, I stick to simple foods that I know do well for me and help me get through training and help me recover well. You know, your meats, your carbs, and your vegetables. I don't really venture out too far. I don't eat fast food a lot. During season, I usually try to eat well and eat things that are gonna help fuel me to get me through training. How do you get coaches to notice you? Well, the great thing about track and field is that stats don't lie. If you run really fast, then you're gonna get noticed. Your times are gonna speak for themselves. But if you happen to be one of those athletes that are in a very tough market, or you wanna go to a dream school where it's very competitive and you're amongst other athletes who also have great stats, another great way to stand out is to use Streamline Athletes. Taking initiative in your own recruiting journey is a great way to get on a coach's radar, because you can set up a profile on streamlineathletes.com and coaches are actively recruiting there, so you can get noticed that way and have an edge over other athletes who aren't taking advantage of this great website. And again, the process is very simple. All you gotta do is go to streamlineathletes.com, create your own free profile, enter your personal information and your athletic performances, and then boom, you're connected with other college coaches who are looking to actively recruit, and you have access to great resources and tools that help in your college recruiting journey, and find a school that's the best fit for you. So give it a try. Go over to streamlineathletes.com, make your profile, and take advantage of this great tool. Who knows, you might find a school that wasn't on your radar and will turn out to be a great fit for you and the best decision of your life. How do you get coaches to notice you? When you are in a conversation with a coach, how do you present yourself as an attractive, recruitable athlete? One thing college coaches love seeing more than anything else is seeing students students who are very serious about their academics as well as their athletic performance. A lot of athletes are very interested on the athletic side and want to perform strong there, but you can't have strong performances on the track without having the academics to make you eligible. So first, you have to get admitted into the school because it is an institution that has academic standards. So if you don't meet those standards, you don't even have the opportunity to get into the school to have your athletic performances. So the way to stand out and show college coaches that you're an attractive prospect is by having really good grades and show them that you have the GPA to back up your athletic resume. The last thing a coach wants to do is worry about how to qualify you academically. So if you already have that situated, you already have an advantage and you're a very attractive prospect. All you gotta do now is kill it on the track or in the field. You're the best athlete. Thank you. What was going through your head when Andre DeGrasse got the baton? Honestly, at that point, running first leg, my job was just to set the tone, set the tempo, run a really good curve, hold off Coleman on the inside of me, make sure I give it to Jerome with a nice stick, and then from there, I'm a cheerleader. So when Andre got the baton, I said, this is gonna be the moment, because normally when he gets it, they have a slow exchange between him and Brendan, and then people make up ground and he has to come back and try and catch him at the end. But when I saw Elijah Hall fall for the USA and we were in the lead, I just knew no one was gonna run down Andre. So at that point, I'm screaming because I think this is the one, we finally did it, we're gonna get our gold. How are you able to train so hard and consistently yet have time for family? That's a great question. Honestly, it comes down to time management. Make time for the things that matter to you most. So I know track, I have to handle that. That's my bread and butter. That's what my career is. So I definitely have to give a lot of my focus to that. But I find times to hang out with the family. I have a really supportive wife who supports my dreams and supports my goals. She's my support system. So she knows exactly what I have to do on the track. She helps me by taking my son and taking the reins with that while I'm out training. But when I come home, I try to be present and help out around the house, be as effective as I can as a father and a husband. But then when it's training time, business time, and I'm going out there and handling it just like anybody would at their own job when they're clocking in at a 9 to 5. When it's work time, I gotta work. Other than that, I try to unplug. I put my social media stuff to the side if I have to and make time for family. But it's all about time management and balancing what matters to you most. You can definitely find time to get it all done. It just takes discipline and sticking to a schedule. Thoughts on the 14-year-old that ran 1076 in AAU? I don't have any thoughts. I didn't even know that. I don't know who you're talking about, but fast time. But other than that, you know, not much that I can really go off of from that. People can run fast early and then not run faster later, so it's not really an indicator of anything. I would just say that kid is really talented and I hope he sticks with it and I hope he continues to improve. Your favorite training to run a good 200? One of my favorite 200 workouts is the 250, 150, 100 breakdown. It's a very tough workout. You're running really, really fast. You don't have a lot of rest. It's a lactic acid training workout. So you know you build up a lot of lactic running that 250, but you got to backdoor it with a really fast 150. And that's one of those workouts where I know if I can run really fast times in those, then I come back to still hold my composure, feel really strong, I'm in good shape and I'm ready to run something fast. What makes you smiling even when you lose? The fact that I'm still healthy, the fact that I'm able to get up and do what I love every day, the fact that I'm living my dream job as a professional athlete, and there's always more opportunities. So losing in one moment is just gonna help set me up for the next win. And it's gonna make it all the more sweeter because you come through the challenges, you dealt with adversity, you overcame, you reflected, you learned how you could get better because you're not gonna win them all, nobody wins them all. You definitely have moments where you have to reflect, and when you lose and you learn your lesson, you didn't really lose anyway. You only lose when you don't learn from it. So if you can grow from it and come back and seize that next opportunity, that's how you keep a smile on your face because you know the next time out, you're gonna be a different athlete and you're gonna be better. What was your major in college? I majored in political science and minored in business administration at USC. Where can I find those awesome running shades you wear for meets? Nike definitely hooks us up as professional athletes, and I definitely love running in nice shades. I usually only wear them in championships though. I'm a headband guy on the circuit, but I'll link some of my favorite shades down in the description box below, so look out for that. In the upcoming 2023 season, are you planning to do both 100 and 200 meters or only 200 meters? That's a great question. Honestly, I was thinking I was gonna just do the 200, but after running the 100 this season, making the finals at the World Championships, and then at the Diamond League final where I finished third, I definitely feel like I have some unfinished business in the 100 meters and I'm starting to figure it out. And finishing third place at the Diamond League final definitely gave me some positive momentum. I'll probably be world ranked in the 100 meters after making the World Championship finals and finishing third at the Diamond League. So I think I'm gonna do both next year, but obviously everything can change. I'll see how everything plays out and leading up into the World Championships and then make a decision from there based on what I think the best decision is for me at the World Championships. Did you panic when that block slipped in the World Championships? I know I was praying it wasn't a DQ. Woo. I did panic a little bit in my mind, but I had to stay composed. I couldn't let people see the fear on me. I didn't want my competitors to know that I was tripping up in here and I was trying to keep it together. But if you look at my reel that I posted on Instagram, that's exactly how I felt internally. But I couldn't let people see that. Like I said to be professional about it, go out there and handle business, and then I could worry about it after I ran the race and qualified. Good luck on your race, bring home the gold. Thank you. Appreciate that. Always going for the gold. Sometimes I don't get it, sometimes I do, but no matter what, I try my best. How has running pro track affected your personal life? It has affected it greatly. I make a lot of sacrifices in order to be a professional athlete, and running pro track, you definitely have to put a lot into it if you want to be good at it. If you want to be good at anything in life, honestly, you have to make sacrifices. You can't do it all, and you have to decide on what's important to you. So I had to make a lot of sacrifices in my life. My social life is not the greatest. Sometimes I'm away from my family, and that's hard to do, but duty calls, and if I want to be great in this sport, I have to do these things. I got to sacrifice because I'm not going to be in it for long, and while I'm in it, I want to be the best I can be. What is your proudest moment? Proudest moment, I'm assuming you mean on the track. I don't know. I don't have one that really stands out. There's a lot of great moments that I've had throughout my career. I've had a very long career with a lot of things that stand out to me. The most obvious one is the recent World Championship gold in the 4x1, where we finally put it together and got on top of the podium. That's definitely a big moment for me. First time I ran sub 20 is definitely another one for me. First time I ran sub 10 is also one. Some of my national championships in the 100 meters where I had epic battles, those have been really highs for me. Diamond League wins, those have been highs for me. But I'm gonna say my proudest moment is the one that hasn't happened yet. I'm looking forward, and I think that my best races are still ahead of me, so I'm looking forward to that moment when it comes. Can you show us your medals, trophies, uniform, and spikes that you've ran in over the years? I'll give you an example. I'll get some B-roll clips and I'll throw it in right here. How to improve sprint speed. I'm sorry, I'm not a coach. The best answer I can give you is to hook up with a sprint coach, and they'll look at you, assess you, and see exactly what you need to give you a program in order for you to improve speed. What are your goals for 2023? Get on the podium in an individual event at the World Championships. Simple and plain. And run PRs in both the 100 and 200 meters. Your best moment. Just answered that. My best moment is the one that hasn't happened yet. I have a lot of moments that I'm proud of, but I'm still looking forward, and I think my best moments are ahead of me, so I'm looking forward to when it comes and stands out from the rest. I'm 19 and now starting track. Is it too late for me? I don't think it's too late. There's been examples of other athletes who have started at that age and they're switching from other sports. It's just about you getting in the right environment, making up for lost time, learning the mechanics. You have some catching up to do because a lot of people at this age are going to be really technically sound at this point. They are generally in college if they're in the States or in Canada, and they're elite, or they might even be professionals at this point, but you can still make it happen. Just be patient, find a good environment with a good training partner, a good coach that can look at you and assess you and help you get there, and don't try to rush it all. Don't think it's going to come overnight, because it's not. Sprinting is very hard, very difficult, but over time, you put in the work, you'll get results. Heart. Right back at you. How to cope with the long-term effects of injuries. Injured my quad and haven't been the same. Man, that's a tough question. I'm not really a therapist either, but honestly, injuries happen, injuries suck, but it's a part of the game. You just have to stay strong mentally, put in the work, assess yourself, hook up with a physical therapist, see what you can do training-wise in order to get better. Maybe you need to correct some things that went wrong after your injury. Maybe you need to strengthen some parts of the body to figure out why you got injured in the first place, figure out why you were hurt, what you can do to improve your body, and how you can come back even stronger. Don't give up. Just keep asking professionals, ask around, figure out what's wrong with you, get to the bottom of it, and how you can prevent it in the future, and how you can get stronger and bounce back so you're not only the same, but you're better than you were before you got injured. At what age did you start taking sprinting serious? I started taking sprinting seriously my grade 11 season because I knew I could make Team Canada and go to World Youth in Italy, and I wanted to make that under 18 team, and that's where I got my first international medal. I got silver in the 100 meters, and from there the rest is history. I've been taking it serious ever since. But once I saw that opportunity was there, after getting 3 golds at Ofsted in grade 10, I decided I was going to take it seriously in grade 11, and here I am today. What was going through your head as soon as you passed the baton off in the world final? Already answered that. I just said under the grass is not getting ran down, and I'm about to be a world champion for the first time. This feels amazing. I'm just going to soak it all in, and that's exactly what happened. Check out my reaction video here if you want to see exactly what went through my head. Tips for speed endurance and some stretch videos. I don't really have tips for speed endurance because I'm not a coach and I don't put together programs. I'll just say to talk to a coach and they'll figure out the speed endurance that you need. As far as stretch videos, that's something I can definitely do for you guys. So stay tuned for a future video. I'll definitely put together some stretches for you guys because that's something that's important as an athlete to help keep you healthy. So I can do that part at least. What supplements do you take? I'm not a huge supplement taker. There's been stuff I've taken in the past. I take my multivitamin, I take magnesium, I take creatine, I have my whey proteins and stuff like that. Basically everything that my nutritionist recommends at Athletics Canada is what I'm taking currently. Nothing crazy, nothing off the wall. You definitely have to be safe when you're messing with supplements. sprints because you can get popped. You can run into some trouble if you're taking crazy stuff. So I don't mess with any of that crazy stuff. I just make sure I take exactly what I need, what makes me perform well and keeps me healthy. What motivates you the most? I think what motivates me the most is my legacy. I want to go and leave my mark in this sport, and I feel like I want to leave the sport happy and know that I left no stone unturned. When I retire, I want to be able to tell myself that I got everything I could out of my talent, and whatever that means, I'm proud of it. Beyond that, I want to leave a legacy for my son and something for him to look up to, be an example for him of what he could be in the future. What goes through your mind when coming off the bend in the 200? Honestly, I'm thinking very technically in my mind. Whenever I'm competing, I'm trying to stay in my zone and stay focused on what I'm having to do to execute my strategy. So what goes off my mind off the bend is to accelerate and keep that same turnover and hold it all the way to the finish line. Why am I improving in the 200 and not my 100? I have no idea. I don't know who you are and what your running style is, what your training program is. Maybe you're putting in more emphasis on the 200 meters and you're more of a speed endurance type guy and you need to improve your flat speed in the 100. There's more time to make mistakes in the 200 because you have double the distance. So maybe you're not technically sound in the 100 and that's costing you more in the 100 than it is in the 2 because you have more time to get going. I don't know. It's hard to say. Could be many different things. What do you think, just in your opinion, is the best weight for a sprinter who is 5'10 to 6'1"? That's another one that I have no idea how to answer. I'm not a coach. The best weight could be many things. You know, weight is not a simple thing to break down. It could be weight from muscle, it could be weight from fat, it could be because you're really tall. Weight is one of those tricky things where it's very hard to tell what the best weight is for you as an athlete. I think that's a great question for a coach who can look at you and assess your body type and know what to suggest as far as weight goes. A nutritionist can also help you with that. Me, on the other hand, not even knowing what you look like, very tough for me to do. There's a lot of different body types. I know guys that are in my own training group right now that are between those heights right there that you mentioned, that we all have different weights because we're all different body types. Some are super lean, super cut, some are more dense, some are really lanky, some are stocky. It really depends on your body type and who you are as an athlete. What's the biggest lesson you have learned in this experience? The biggest lesson that I've learned is that adversity is one of the best teachers in life. You can learn so much from failing and falling short of your goals if you don't take it to heart and you learn the lessons from everything there is from why that happened. What things do you do to not get nervous in a competition? I tell myself that I'm prepared, I'm confident, I'm ready for this, I've been preparing for it. No different than training, just go out there and do what you've been training to do. And I tell myself that this is just entertainment. At the end of the day, your life's not in danger, you will live to see another day, and there's more opportunities. If you don't seize this one, it's okay. And I do that because I don't want to put too much pressure on myself and raise my anxiety levels. It's already a stressful, intense situation, so I try to de-escalate, stay calm, stay calculated, go out there and execute the best way I know how to, and then tell myself that this is my moment, this is the one, and this is going to be the opportunity where you put it all together. Stay positive, stay optimistic up here, and then try to manifest exactly how I want to perform. What are the best colleges for athletics in the United States? Well, I'm obviously going to throw USC out there, fight on, but there's many different colleges out there. USC is a great one, Oregon's a great program, as much as it's paying me to say. LSU is a great program, Florida State, Texas A&M, you name it. There's all kind of great schools. Just go out there, do some research, hook up with Streamline Athletes. They're definitely a great place to learn all about all the different college fits for you, all the different colleges that do really well. You can definitely learn a whole lot on streamlineathletes.com. I'll let them handle that, but there's a lot of great colleges out there for you to choose from. What are the best spikes you use? I have a whole spike video here that I'll link based on my spikes that I wear for this season, which was both the Superfly Elite 2s and the Maxflies. You see the Maxflies right here, the up tempos. Definitely a fantastic spike. The spike that I use for the 100 meters is right there. And I also use Superfly Elite 2s for my 200. So those are the two spikes that I use, and I think those are the greatest spikes out there on the market right now. What does your average weekly sprint schedule look like? Example, weights, track, recovery sessions. Okay, so I train 5 days a week, sometimes 6 if we're deep in the season and my coach feels like we need an extra day. Sometimes 7 when we're heavily in championship season and we're coming in and out of town, coming across the world. Sometimes we go on the weekends as well, but mostly in the fall and early spring, we go 5 times a week with 4 weight sessions on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Thursday being our upper body days, Tuesday, Friday being our lower body days. Wednesdays when we're in fall training is usually our sled days, but as the season progresses, those turn into recovery days. On Wednesday, we'll usually do strides. Tuesdays and Thursdays are sprint days where we're in the blocks and doing fast stuff. Mondays usually speed endurance, and Fridays are pivotal day. What was the hardest adversity you faced as an athlete and how did you overcome it? Man, I've been through a lot of adversity. My career is full of up and downs, as most are. Honestly, what comes to my mind immediately is the 2017 World Championships in London when I stepped on the line in the first round of 200 meters. I'd won my round and I ran the second fastest fastest time in my career up until that point, and I got disqualified for one step on the line in the turn, and that was devastating because I knew that was my chance for me to get on the podium, challenge for the win. Wasn't that fast of a time. My time in the first round would have been able to challenge for a medal in the finals, but it set me up for the rest of my career because I knew that I had the potential for it, and that changed my mindset, and I used that tragedy and turned it into motivation to fuel me in the next year, and that's when I ran my first sub 20. The rest is history. I've been going ever since. What were you thinking the moment when you were running for gold with the others? I think he's talking about the 4x1 gold at the World Championships, and like I said earlier, you can see my reaction in this video here. Won't repeat that one, moving right along. What would you say is the most important muscle for sprinting? That's tough to say because the whole body works symbiotically and you have to stay in sync, so everything kind of works together in order for you to maximize your speed. I'd probably say maybe your hips, because if you have really good hip strength and hip stability, that's how you stay upright and tall, which is key in order to run faster. But like I said, every muscle pretty much plays a part in you running fast, and if one thing's strong but the rest are not, you're not going to be very fast. What got you into track? The fact that I was fast. You know, I played all kinds of sports just to burn off energy and stay competitive, and I loved sports growing up, so I tried all kind of different things, and the thing that was common with all of them was I was fast, and coaches always pointed me in the direction of track and field to see how fast I could be, and one thing led to another, and now I'm a professional athlete. Do you have a favorite book? Favorite book. I really like Rich Dad Poor Dad. That completely changed my mindset business-wise, which is something, again, I'll talk about in the future when I get into the business segment of this channel. But for now, I'll just throw that out as a really good book that I recommend for everybody to read. Not necessarily saying it's my favorite, but it's probably the most impactful, so I'll list that for now. How to get faster and a better reaction time to the gun. How to get faster is a question for a coach, so I'm not going to touch that one. But a better reaction time to the gun, those are questions better suited for a coach. Like I always say, I'm not a coach. How to get faster, you hook up with a good sprint coach who can look at you, assess you, tell you what you need to do to improve. But as far as reacting to the gun, one thing that I do know that I could give as a tip is I like to let my mind go blank and get scared by the gun. A lot of people try to guess it and time it, and they either get antsy and jump the gun, or they don't anticipate it and it comes before they're ready for it. But if you just let your mind go blank, focus on your first movement and repeat it over and over and over, and when you finally hear that sound, you explode out. You do first reaction and think of yourself getting shocked, because that's when you really react instinctively, and you're really fast off that. You just want to make sure that you control your first movement and make sure it's something positive and not negative, not jumping straight up. You want to go forward. I've been told by all my coaches that nobody breathes during 100. I'm not sure why they say that. People definitely breathe during 100. I wouldn't say that they're breathing profusely, where they're in and out, in and out, in and out. You're definitely trying to control your breath, and you want to have a strong diaphragm, but people definitely do breathe. If you don't breathe during the 100, you're going to pass out. That's a long way to go with holding your breath. You just want to make sure that it's controlled and using your breath purposefully with each step. How to run relaxed during the last 60, 80 meters of the 200. That's a great question. It's something that I'm still trying to figure out myself, honestly, because I try my best to stay relaxed, and sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. It's very hard when you have really fast people around you running super fast times, deep 19s and stuff. But the key is to focus on your technique. One thing that you want to do is control the arms, because the arms control the legs, and your arms are weightless. They're not touching the ground. They stay weightless. They're in the air. So you can control those easier than you can control your legs. Your legs are going to be fatiguing, but if you stay relaxed, tell yourself, quick, big arms, swing vigorously, your legs will follow, and that should help you carry your momentum to the line. How high must knees be during a sprint? I mean, that's a coach question. It's something that's different for everybody. It depends on your gait, how long your legs are, your stride length, your stride frequency, all that good stuff. That's something I can't answer. I don't even know what you look like. That's a different answer for everybody. Number one, motivation. That's something I said earlier, my legacy, leaving a legacy for my son, and making sure that I'm proud of myself when I walk away from the sport and I left no stone unturned. Do you think someone who is around the ages of 25 to 30 can make it big in track? Yes. If you're saying you're just starting now in 25, 30, I mean, that's very unorthodox and it's going to be very difficult. By now, you would have definitely been discovered if you showed potential and the talent. But if you're a rare diamond in the rough, sure, why not? I mean, age is nothing but a number. At this point though, you know, you're going to be playing a huge amount of catch up. I said earlier, the guy at 19 was playing catch up. If you're starting at 25 to 30, yeah, I mean, that boat has definitely gone. So you might have some trouble, but it's never not worth trying. You never know. It's definitely not conventional, and you don't see that really at all, but give it a shot. There's nothing really to lose other than the race, I guess. But if you're going out there and having fun and not putting pressure on yourself to make it, and you're relying on this as a career and you're just doing this to see how fast you can go, why not? Go for it. How did you place in your first track meet? I don't even remember. I remember one of the first races I ran was the hurdles. I thought it was fun because there was things to jump over, but then I was taking my time and literally jumping over it, like hopping over it. I wasn't hurdling at all, so I got rid of that quickly. I figured out that the hurdles weren't for me. I remember doing the sprints and I did really well. I'm not sure if I won or got second, but it was definitely top two. I was very young. I was wearing street clothes. I was wearing my shoes, and and just running to the tape. There was no starting blocks. I was a young kid. All I knew was just run as fast as you could, and that was something I loved to do as a young kid. So one of my first meets is definitely a top 2 finish. How you keep yourself together after your block slipped at World Championships. Already touched that one, so we're gonna move right along. Not a question, but just wanna say you seem like a very good person. Keep grinding, my guy. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I do this for you guys, and I hope you guys appreciate what I do. I love to give back. I love to help people, and that's what Kingsley TV is all about. What do you think that makes the major difference between pro athlete and average athlete? I think the biggest differentiator is how dedicated you are and how many sacrifices you're willing to make in order to reach greatness. Average people will say they want a goal, but they're not willing to stick with it and do what's necessary in order to reach it. But those who are great and professional about it will do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like doing it. Do y'all fly business class home from national meets like the Olympics or World Championships? No. Some athletes do. Some athletes will pay for the upgrade. Some athletes, when they go to track meets on the circuit, they'll have that included in their appearance fee. They'll have a business class ticket that they need to get, but that's really reserved for the top athletes, like individual medalists, gold medalists, world champions, defending Diamond League champions, athletes like that. I've been flown business class a handful of times, but the majority of the time, the vast majority of the times, I'm flying economy. Sometimes I'll at least get premium economy because, you know, I have a lot of miles, so I'll get upgraded. Sometimes United will bless me because that's who I fly with. Usually when I go overseas, I'm a Star Alliance member, so usually I'll fly with United, Lufthansa, Air Canada, those type of airlines. But unfortunately, most of the time it's economy tickets. Are you financially stable doing track? I am. I've made a pretty good living. I'm not gonna say how much I make, but I am very blessed. I'm very fortunate. I've been smart with my money, which is something you need to do in track and field because it's not sustainable. It's a hustle, not a career. So you gotta get what you can while you're in the sport. But I've been fortunate to have a long career and I've made a good amount of money, and I'm very fortunate in my position to be able to support myself because a lot of athletes in track and field can't say the same. I've also had great sponsors along the way like Streamline Athletes and Nike. So shout out to them for keeping me in the game and able to do what I do and able to train as hard as I train. Can we get a Star Athletics track workout vlog or weight session vlog? Man, I would love to do that and give you guys the behind the scenes. The problem is I have a really old school coach and he does not like social media stuff at all. He thinks it's a big distraction, and honestly it could be. I see the validity in that because I put in a lot of work. I do all my filming and editing myself. I have to position the camera, I have to do the angles, I have to get the speech right. I mess up sometimes, I do retakes, and when you're doing all that, you're taking your energy and your focus away from training and getting the session done. So we would need to hire somebody and get somebody to come out, and then that's an outside person. My coach likes to keep a tight circle, so we keep all our training secrets in the group, not really putting all that stuff out there. People steal our program and all that, and you know, he's very paranoid about that. He likes to protect the program because for coaches, that's their gold. So long answer short, I'll try my best and see what I can do, but no promises. It's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. Are you coming to Lausanne this year? Well, as you know now, I did not go to Lausanne. That was not on the schedule, but hopefully I can come back next year because Lausanne is a great place to run. It's where my PR is in the 200, where I ran 1995 and 2019. So I'd love to come back and break my PR there again. Whew! Okay, so that's all the questions that you guys asked. Thank you again for sending those in. If there's any questions that I didn't get to or you would love to ask in the future, definitely look out for more future polls that I put out, or you can send them down in the comments below and I'll read them and I'll try to respond to each and every one that I can. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to Streamline Athletes as a sponsor. Definitely go check them out if you're a young student athlete looking to take your game to the next level and find a school that fits your needs. If you want more information about college recruiting, then check out this playlist here, which has videos like how I got a scholarship to USC and why I chose them as a school for me. Let me know down in the comments what was your favorite question and answer from the Q&A session, and if you want me to do one in the future, let me know by smashing the like button and sharing this with a friend. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.